All right, welcome back. Welcome back to the Closing Room AZ. I'm your host, Jesse Moreno, and thank you for joining us today. As always, if you have any real estate questions or you are looking for any answers in the real estate field, make sure you reach out to me. Let me know, and I'd love to help you out, give you that answer. I'm a realtor and investor by trade, been doing it for over 20 years, so hopefully I bring something to the table and I can help you guys out as well. Quick shout out to our sponsor for the day, Drake's Title. Agency here in Phoenix, Arizona. Now, Drake's has multiple locations. They are in Phoenix and Nevada. But a quick fact about them I want you guys to know is they've done over 200,000 closings since they started their business. So since August 2024, they've done about 200,000 transactions. So that speaks volumes about this company. So please make sure you guys reach out to them. They not just do title services and escrow, but they can assist you in any needs that you may have. So please make sure that you reach out to them. They can be contacted at, I believe it's 623-589-5300, or just email them at drakestitle.com and they'll be there to help you out. All right. Well, before we get started, I'd like to introduce to you our special guest of the day, Alba Gill.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining us today. Alba is a senior loan officer with Nations Lending. Lending.
Correct.
So, Alba, it's a pleasure having you here today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course. Well, here at the Closing Room, we do ask a lot of questions. We try to keep it engaging, but we are going to probably break this down probably in 3 different chapters because I know Alba has a lot of information. So before anything else, and we jump into it, Alba, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell me maybe a little bit about how long you've been in the business, how long you've been doing mortgages, maybe a little bit about the company, a little bit about your role as a senior loan officer there at Nations Lending.
Correct. Well, thank you so much for having me here today. A little bit about me. I've been in the business for almost 18 years. I look very young, but I'm in the business for 18 years.
18 years, okay.
I started with modifications. I started with refinances. I started with all kinds of refinances, car loans, boat loans, and I love loans. So that's my passion. That's why I kept doing it. So one of the things that I love about my job is helping and teaching. I am all about educating people, educating the community, and helping them grow and have stability as far as financial and education. So that's one of my passions.
Okay.
And a little bit about Nations. Nations Lending is a hybrid company. So it's a mortgage company / broker company. We work with around 30 different brokers that we can broker out to. So that's why I love the company, because we can, as long as we can keep it inside, it's perfect. But when we have to, we can move it outside and we can do all kinds of loans.
Okay. Wow. So
I love it.
27 different brokers you guys can work with, or lenders you guys can work with. That's awesome. Yeah. Is there a particular product or maybe that you like specializing in more so than anything else?
Yes, ITIN. We love to work with ITIN people, and it's with our mortgage company. We can't do them inside, but we can broker them out. So definitely that's something that we use our brokers to help all those ITIN people or business owners that we can help with.
Okay. All right, cool. And I'm assuming because of the ITIN business that you do receive, bilingual?
Yes. Yeah. Totalmente bilingüe.
Muy bien, muy bien.
Not part-time bilingual.
All right. Pues para el Latino público,
Exacto.
¿verdad? Muy bien. Bueno, maybe on the next one we could talk about it and do it in Spanish for our Spanish-speaking folks out there.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Muy bien. Muy bien. All right. Well, let's jump into some products because I think our listeners like to hear about what's out there in the market. Now, the market is a little bit crazy right now. Things are going on. One thing that I'm seeing, and I hopefully you can maybe share a little bit about that, is our rates are dropping. They're coming down. So that's a good note for our buyers and people maybe that were looking to refinance that bought a house several years back where the rates were 7% or higher perhaps. Mm-hmm. So maybe it's a good time to refinance. But there's numerous types of loans out there. So we're going to break each one down individually, but tell me about what kind of loans are out there for the general public. What do we have out there?
So the majority right now, when people talk about FHAs, FHAs, the first-time home buyers, people call it they have many words, the nicknames for the FHA, but I love that one because the ability to have a lower interest rate, the ability to buy down more of the interest when we are negotiating with the sellers. So definitely that's one of the go-tos right now. I do offer a lot of down payment assistance programs.
Okay, good.
So some of the programs that I have, they're 6% interest rate, so they're pretty good. They pay all the down payment, put most of the closing costs. So definitely programs out there to help people buy a house. I always tell my clients, if you want to buy a house, just tell me. That's all I need to know.
All right.
I'll find you a house. We'll find the down payment assistance program that we need. We'll find the approval. We'll look at everything else. I just want you to know. I want you to tell me if you want it or not. So
Sure.
that's all.
All right. Well, look, you dived right into it. You said FHA. So
Yes.
maybe let's spend some time in FHA, and then we'll go into some other products as we go through this, right?
Okay.
Like I said, we're going to probably end up doing this in 3 different chapters.
Yep.
So we'll take our time. And the key thing here too is I want to make sure that my listeners know exactly what some of these acronyms that we're going to use, what they mean. For example, FHA, right, stands for Federal Housing Development.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. So we want to make sure they know that. And so as we go through this process, we want to make sure we break it down. Tell us a little bit about FHA, some of the features with FHA. So the minimal down payment, what is it again?
3.5%.
Okay, and they can't
of
put
the
more.
purchase price.
Of the purchase price.
Yes, they can put more if they want to.
Okay.
One of the questions that they always ask me, if I put more, can I avoid the mortgage insurance? No, unfortunately, we cannot. That's the other program that we have, or the other product that we have, conventional. But FHA 3.5 minimum.
Okay, so if you put more than 20%, so I know kind of like I hear in conventional financing, which we'll talk about in a bit, but when we talk about conventional financing and we talk about FHA 3.5%, and I think you do the same with conventional a little bit, but on FHA, if they put 20% down, are they still entitled to pay that PMI or that prime mortgage insurance?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay.
And that's the difference why when we do our assessments with the clients and we ask how much you want to put down, then definitely, we route them to the best product for them so they can
Gotcha.
save some money. Yeah. Mhm.
Now, what happens if down the road they put down 10, 15, 20% and the property appreciates in value and they're like, I want to get rid of this private mortgage insurance. Can they do that?
Yes, we refinance the property.
Refinancing is the only way.
Yes.
Okay.
If they have an FHA. Yes.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. Great program for first-time buyers or great program for people that are just looking to buy their second home? Does it really matter?
Yes, it's for first-time home buyers, usually. They can buy another FHA, but it has to be within 100 miles of whatever their primary home is. So it just depends on the
interesting.
situation.
Good to know. About 100 miles.
Yes.
Okay.
As long as 100 miles. Now, if their first FHA, they were a co-signer, let's say, for example, we have a lot of people that are co-signing right now in these days. So if they co-sign and then they can prove the last 12 months of payments have not been taken out of their account, and then they co-sign that, FHA, they can buy another FHA. That's doable as well. But
Okay.
it's a documentation that we have to have, specific stuff that we have to have for that other FHA to get approved. Yeah.
Good to know. I didn't know that. Okay. What about when it comes down to the credit scores?
So credit scores are usually, with us, the credit score is usually 500 and up. We can do 500. Now, when we do have somebody with, I just did recently 513, it was the FICO score. They did ask for 7% down. So it just depends on the situation. I mean, if they were late, it was a bankruptcy. I mean, we look at the whole picture to see what they're going to need.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. But even with the 500 credit score, 7% down is heck of a deal.
Yeah. Yeah. It was not bad. Yeah.
Get you into a home, right? The American dream is get you into a home, especially first-time home buyers. And I always tell the younger generation when they're looking for a property, as a realtor, they'll come to me and say, hey, Jesse, I want to buy a house. I'm tired of living at home or perhaps renting. And I say, no, buying a home, it's much better than renting.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And they'd be surprised. People are surprised when they figure out that, like you said a little bit ago, you got some programs that have some assistant programs to assist them with the down payment, their closing costs. They don't know that. They're thinking, well, I don't have the money for the down payment or whatever the case may be. But there's options to do that, right? So not just the assistance program, but they could also get the money from where else?
From a gift.
A gift.
It can be a donation now. Somebody they can donate the money to them. Mhm.
Okay. Is there a limit to that?
And no, there's no limit with the FHA. Now, definitely with the agents that you work with, they can help you with the closing costs as well. So definitely getting, a donation for the down payment and then negotiating with your agent and the seller for the closing costs.
Right.
So I always say when it comes to renting, I always tell my clients, renting is 100% interest that you're paying.
Sure.
So even if you're paying 7% with down payment assistance, it's way better than renting with 100%.
Absolutely. And you're right. I appreciate you saying, talking when you're working with the realtor, when we do that, I want to give myself a cheap plug in here because as a realtor,
Yeah.
absolutely. My job is to try to get them into this property with as little as possible.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, a good realtor is always going to negotiate, not just your sales price, but concessions to get you into that property with as little money as possible. Yeah. And working with the right lender as well, which is key, right? So knowing Alba has these great programs is also it's beneficial for as a realtor as myself and realtors that are listening to this podcast to say, hey, you know what? I've got a buyer. I got to, if they're looking for maybe some assistance, where can I start with? And get to know that you have that. Because I'll tell you what, I've spoken to a bunch of different lenders and sometimes they don't bring that up.
Yeah.
And it's key to know because first-time home buyer doesn't know any better.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we educate them, not just from the mortgage side, but also as a realtor to educate them, let them know, hey, this is what's available out there. And it helps me out as well. So I appreciate you sharing those programs out there. What else is there interesting to know about FHA that the listeners should know about?
I always mention the buy downs, and then also the seller concessions, how much we can ask for. As seller concessions, we can ask for 6% of the purchase price max as far as from the seller. So with the conventional is 3% unless we have a down payment that's bigger, bigger than the minimum down payment. But with FHA is 6%. So with that money, we have a lot of money to work with so we can lower your payment as far as buying down the rate or doing a permanent buy down or doing a 1, 2, 3 year buy down. All those stuff. I always sit with my clients and I love to sit with them and say, what's your goal? I mean, I don't just, say this is going to be what we have and the best for you. No, I want to talk to them because sometimes it's like, well, if I'm going to move in the next 3 years, let's just do a buy down for 3 years then. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to move, you sell the property or you're going to rent the property, let's do that. Whatever is best for that specific client because everything doesn't work for one crowd doesn't work for everybody. So I always tell my clients, they always call me, for example, like BA, they always call me, well, I think it's just the best, thing to do for me. I'm like, no, let's sit down. Sometimes we come up with another solution, a conventional broker out, whatever it is. But always sitting down with the client and really going deep into what it is that they need in their family needs. That's my passion.
All right. Well, let me open up a can of worms here because you said 2-1, 3-1 buy downs. Mm-hmm. So for those that don't know what that means, tell me what that means.
So buy downs, it's how can I explain in the correct way to make sense? It's practically the seller giving money, or you can also do the buy down if you want, if you have the money. You can pay the interest for the first year, second year, or third year. For example, if the seller gives you enough money, we can buy down the interest rate for the first 3 years. If the interest right now is at 6%, the first year is going to be a 3% interest rate, your payment. Then the second year is going to be 4%, then it's going to be 5%. And then after the fourth year till the 30th, it's going to be the 6%, then whatever, locked in.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Correct. Right. So a lot of people love it. Why? Because they think that the interest is going to go down even lower. So they're like, oh, you know what? I'm just going to buy it down for the first 1 or 2 years and see what happens. And if not, I'm going to keep whatever the rate is for right now. So it's really good. I love that one. I love it because a lot of people gives them that time to settle and to see what's going to happen with the economy, what's going to happen with their, their lives, or people are just starting their, their job, their career. So that gives them a little bit of time to see what's going to happen.
Okay, cool. Let me ask you this, because that's interesting to me, knowing that there's other programs out there and we haven't even tackled them yet, but I'm going to kind of put it out there so people know what's coming in our conversation here, right? So, we got FHA conventional, but there's also these programs and within these programs here or lending that is available, such as your adjustable rates, right? A fixed rate, right? And the adjustable rate is kind of similar to that 1, 2, 3 buy downs, right? I hope I'm using the terms correctly here.
Yeah.
Where they can get that rate a little bit lower, but we know on the adjustable rate they can adjust down the road depending on whatever index they buy into and so forth. But what I want the listeners to know is there a benefit when they do a 2-1 buy down, having that lower rate compared to an adjustable rate where it starts a little bit less, a little bit lower than the standard 30-year, 15-year fixed rate, right? So do you see a difference in interest rates? I mean, would you say that the rate sometimes seems to be a lot lower on a 2-1 buy down compared to an adjustable rate?
Yes, I want to say yes.
Right.
And it also, we have to say that it just depends also on the FICO scores and the situation. I mean, the LTVs, LTVs, I'm going to use the term, but the loan to value, it has to do with the FICO scores, with their credit scores, it has to do everything in combination. So that's the good thing about when you assess somebody, and see what's going to be best for them. But definitely what I've seen the last couple of months, it's been the buy downs are better for them.
Okay. Awesome. Good to know. I love FHA. I mean, I've done a lot of FHA deals.
Yeah.
I love it. The fact that one is you can get more seller concessions. I love that part. On the flip side, perhaps is maybe the prime mortgage insurance for my buyers are like, oh, I got to have that extra payment on top of my principal and interest, taxes, and so forth. Now I've got this private mortgage insurance that is not even tax deductible.
Yeah.
In some cases, most cases.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that there's a little bit more wiggle room for concessions in order to help with the closing costs, because first-time buyers sometimes don't have that full amount, that dollar amount they need, right? So that's the reason why I love FHA. Anything else before we jump in perhaps into conventional?
With FHA, let's see. One of the things that I always mention is when we have more seller concessions, we can add like a home warranty.
Okay.
We can add a little bit more of the HOA, pay a little bit, in advance. A lot of people don't know that. They don't understand that when we have all that much money from the seller, we can use it for their benefit to pay extra on, a couple of months HOA, to pay 1 or 2 years on a home warranty and things like that. So definitely it benefits them. Yeah.
Okay. You know what? And I told you we're going to try to do this in chapters, and we are coming up on our time.
That's fine.
And we haven't even tackled anything else. I'm telling you, when we have a great conversation like this, and there's so much information,
I know.
Time just seems to go by really quick. I'm hoping that the listeners are grabbing a lot of information from here and are going to be able to utilize this on their next purchase. What's important is for me is to make sure that they reach out to you, right? So I want them to call you, either by call you or email you, whatever's the easiest way. Are you comfortable maybe giving my listeners the best way to reach you? What would you tell my listeners?
Usually it will be through text message because we have so much spam calls all day. So usually a text message is the best thing. My phone number, do you want me to give the phone number?
Let them know what it is.
400-7235. That's the best way. Hey, Alba, this is so-and-so. I want to talk to you about my mortgage process or anything like that, and that's the best way to reach me.
All right, and Alba speaks Spanish, so make sure if you're a Spanish-speaking person or a family member or friend that speaks Spanish that needs some assistance, make sure you text Alba to that number one more time.
602-400-7235.
All right, awesome. Well, we're going to continue on with part 2 of this conversation because we're just barely touching the tip of mortgages, and Alba has a lot of information to share. So until then, you guys, want to wish everybody a fantastic day. If you have any questions, please make sure you reach out to us. Reach out to us here at The Closing Room AZ. Follow us on Instagram or on YouTube. If you look for us on YouTube, just type in all in one word, The Closing Room AZ, and you'll find us there. It's a logo, red logo with a mic on it, so easy to find because there's a couple of closing rooms out there, so I want to make sure I put that disclosure out there. If there's any particular topic you want us to tackle on the next conversation, let us know. Stay tuned. Alba will be back again, and she'll be sharing some more information about mortgages. So till then, thank you for hanging out with us, and set no limits.
Thank you. Thank you so much.